Today, I'm going to share 5 things that most Nigerians get wrong in their first week in the UK. And I'm not talking about obvious things like cold weather or having timetables in the bus stops. No, I'm going to share those social unwritten codes or rules by which people live in the UK. And if you are just arriving and you are not aware of these things, you come off as, you stick out as a new arrival. And sometimes you get embarrassed by the situations that you have to navigate on your own. Hi, my name is Adaeze Chidema, and this is Living Abroad with Adaeze. If today is your first time stopping by, I'm so grateful. Thank you, and I appreciate it if you would do me a favor by liking this video and subscribing to this channel. Here I share my experiences of over 10 years living in the UK regarding culture shock, survival tips, and general life in the UK to help you navigate the system if you are just coming or planning to come. So do me a favor, also share with anyone you feel might need the information I'm sharing on this channel. Thank you. So first, we're talking about not saying thank you to the bus driver. You see, most of us come from a culture where we just get off the bus and mind our businesses for the day, and that is okay. But here in the UK, it is not so. When you get off or before you get off the bus, you say thank you to the driver, or you say thank you, driver, before you get off. Now, someone may be saying, why should I thank the driver? I paid my fare and he's just doing his job. Must I thank him for doing his job he's paid to do? That is correct. You paid your fare and he's doing his job. But this is, like I said, these are unwritten social rules. You are doing it out of courtesy, out of politeness for taking you from point A to point B. And when you do this, people see you, as someone that has this attitude of gratitude, even though you paid your fare. But at the same time, you are showing gratitude, you are being polite, you are showing courtesy. And the more you show courtesy, the more you receive it as well. So learn to say thank you. And it doesn't matter any city, any bus at all, as long as it is in the UK. Before you get off, say thank you to the driver. It will also make your day, because you feel that you have appreciated someone, you have shown gratitude. So it goes both ways, right? And the second thing is standing too close in a queue. Like I mentioned weeks ago in my video, that here in the UK, queues are respected. You don't jump queues. And when you join this queue, the next thing you should know is that personal spaces are sacred in the UK. You do not bump or impose or encroach other people's personal space. Now, if you are wondering, how do I know someone's personal space? It is the distance of your arm length. For example, you're standing behind someone and you stretch your arm to the full. If you can touch that person, that means you are still in their personal space. You have to move back to give them their personal space. So all this, let's call it invisible bubble, are respected. And it also depends on the, the amount of space you have there. For example, you come into a bank, or you are about to pay in the shop, or you are in the bus stop. These are different spaces. The bus stop is usually, outer space. So first, when you arrive, look at the people in the queue. Observe, like I always say, be observant. Don't just walk about and do things however you want to do it and draw the wrong attention to yourself. So mirror the behavior of the people. Look at the space they give to each other and copy that, and you'll be fine. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about, and this one is really, really personal because it happened to me. Calling your lecturer or an elderly person sir or ma. You see, my very first class in the uni in this country, I came to the class and When the course director then came into the class, she was talking to us because it was our very first class in the uni. So she was talking to each of us, trying to get to know us, asking our names, where we come from. So when it got to my turn and she was talking to me, I was referring to her as ma'am because she was a woman. Whenever she talks, I will say, yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am. You know, and at a point, she couldn't take it anymore. She said, stop calling me ma'am. And I was shocked. She looked at my face and saw the shock and she said, call me so, so, and so. She gave her name. And it was so much for me, coming from a place where we don't call our lecturers by their names. You see, this was a PhD holder. This was a PhD holder asking me to call her by her first name. It was so big for me. But what really helped me was her name was Marina. So each time I said, yes, Marina, I was making Marina out of Ma. She knew this. She smiled, but she just let me be because she knew I had taken the correction. Because calling them by their first name, that is how you show respect. We thought, we were taught to say sir and ma, even from home. Because I remember when you wake up in the morning, you say, good morning, ma, to your mother. You say, good morning, sir, to your father. And you take it from there to the elders living in your compound, to your teachers, every elderly person. You don't call them by their first name. That is how we show respect. But over here, how you show respect is by your behavior, not by title. Here, they don't care about title. By the way, I want to apologize. My neighbors are doing some work out there. I think the noise is coming through. I'm sorry about that. So over here, the way you show respect is not by title. Back home, we are used to say professor, doctor, sir, doctor, chief, all those titles, we pack them up on top of each other. Nobody cares about that here because I'm talking about a PhD holder telling me not to call her ma'am, to call her her name, first name, not even Mrs. This. No, to call her by her first name. So at the end of the day, I had to learn quickly because, like I said, her name was Marina. So each time I said, yes, Marina, I'll mix it quick. I'll merge the two to make Marina. And I got used to it. And from there, other teachers, I learned to call them by their first name. So when you come to the UK, if you want to show respect, you show respect by coming to class or to work on time. Every appointment you have, you arrive on time. Now I'm addressing students. You show respect by paying attention in the class. You show respect by coming to class prepared. You show respect by contributing because the classes here are always super interactive. The lecturers don't come in to just pour information and go away. No, they talk to you and they expect you to return, to interact with them. You can't be a passive student. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to interact with them. And when you are interacting, let me just digress by saying there is no right or wrong answer here. When you are giving your opinion or maybe you are making an argument regarding a concept or an idea, you are expected, you are free to think outside the box. The only thing is, even though when people around may think, oh, that answer is wrong, the teacher doesn't see it that way. As long as you have points, relevant points to support your argument, that teacher will respect you for that because it shows you are prepared and it shows you are using your brain. Right? So having said that, when you meet an elderly person or in the class or even at work, like that woman told me not to call her ma'am, that she was not my boss. Now, even at places of work here, some of them may not even appreciate it. You say ma or sir. They, they, they will rather that you call them by the name they introduce themselves. And this is how it works. You meet an average person here, they will say, "Hi, I'm Mrs. Johnson," which means when you want to address them, call them Mrs. Johnson. If they say, "Hi, I'm Isaac," when you want to address them, call them Isaac. Now, let me correct this impression we have from home. If someone introduced themselves and say, "Hi, I'm Joseph," and you go on interacting with them, don't turn around and call them Joe, because Joe is the abbreviation for Joseph. They may not like that. Joe may be what their friends call them or what they don't like being called. So learn to address people by the name they introduced themselves. And that is why when you meet people, pay attention to what they say, because it might help you, to pull information you will use later. So you don't come off as, rude when you don't intend to be rude, or you come off as naive when you are actually a very intelligent person. So, and the fourth thing I'm going to talk about is assuming that prices are negotiable. Yes, we came from a culture where someone will tell you, "Oh, this is so amount," and you start to bargain until you reach a consensus and you pay. Here, the price tag on items is what they are being sold. You don't negotiate. And also, another thing is when you look at a price tag and it looks high, too high, it looks expensive, maybe you can't afford it, do not complain. Now I have a story. I had an experience as a student. When we newly came during the student week, people were bringing stuff. If you have been to Coventry Uni, people were bringing stuff into the student hub, for sale. And we were looking at these things because it was student week, no classes yet. And I had one of my classmates from Nigeria, a lady. We were just going around looking at things, and we came to a particular section where they are selling clothing items, and a lady had nice jackets and coats on a rack for sale. And she looked at one nice coat, very good winter coat. There is a difference between jacket and coat. And she looked at the price tag and she asked the seller, the lady, "Is this the price?" And the lady said, "Yes, that is the price. I also have other items over here. You can check them out. They all have different prices." And my classmate, you know, interpreted it that the lady meant she couldn't afford that coat. She kind of got offended. She said, "Do you mean I can't afford this one? Why are you telling me about the cheap ones? I can afford it. After all, I paid to come for my study in this country. Do you know how much I paid? I can afford it." That lady was embarrassed, the seller, a white lady. And she told her, "No, I don't mean that, not at all. What I mean is I've got several items you can, there are varieties, you can just check them out." She was, my classmate was still pissed off. She said, "No, that's not what you meant. You people think because we are from Africa, we are poor. Package it. I want to prove to you that I'm not poor." By this time, I was just, I didn't know how I was feeling, because she was escalating it unnecessarily. So the lady didn't reply this time. She just wrapped it neatly, put it in a bag, collected payment, and we left. And I told her, "That was dramatic. You didn't need to tell her all that you paid so much to come and study and all that." She said, "No, don't even talk about it. Sometimes you need to put them in that place. They feel that because we are from Africa, we are all poor. We are not all poor. I came here on my terms, not on scholarship, all that." What I'm trying to say is that was not a good experience. If you see something and you feel it is expensive, just let it be. If you can afford it, appreciate it, pay for it. But it is wrong for you to begin to tell people, "Are you telling me I cannot afford it? I'm rich, I'm not poor." You don't talk like that. It's not classy. All right. And the last thing I'm going to talk about today is expecting community, expecting community, or trying to be with people, uh, imposing yourself, trying to be familiar rather with people. So we know we back home we live communally, we live in communities, but over here people live independently. So when you arrive newly, you are supposed to look for your community. Your community will not come looking for you. Your community. So I will use myself as an example. The first week we arrived during the students' week, people from Redeemed Christian Church, they came to the school, to Coventry Uni, and they were talking to us. They introduced themselves. They gave us their address. They were giving us tips, on how to get accommodation, how to go for shopping. They were telling us stuff we didn't know. And it really helped. For example, my very first Sunday here, I worshipped in the Redeemed Church. And I was there for months until I found the church I wanted to be in, and I moved on. But what I'm trying to say is that when you newly arrive, do not stay on your own, because when you keep getting lonely, it may lead to frustration, depression, anxiety. You may start feeling so homesick that, because especially when you arrive like I did, without family, no one to talk to, you don't know anybody. Maybe you are a student, you only go to school, you talk to people in class, and when you are home, you are just on your own. When you don't go to the class, you have nobody to talk to. That is not good. So, like I said, find your community. If it is a church, look for a church where you have people to interact with, because we human beings, we are social beings. We are not supposed to just be there. No, like they say, no man is an island, something like that. So find your community. It will help you to be grounded. It will help you to ask some questions, because over there you meet people that have been here for long. You meet students that have been here before you. You meet people, in your niche or in your career, whatever you came for. So find your community so that you'll be able to gain more information from them, be stabilized, and know what you are supposed to do, and not just be lonely all the time. That will not be okay. All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up here for today. We always have so much to share on this channel, and I appreciate it if you watched up to now. And if you did so, that means you may have found one thing or the other, that resonated with you in this video. Please, if you haven't done so already, like the video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to this channel. Like I said, I always share, tips based on my experience and things I have witnessed, having been here for over 10 years. So please, do me a favor and share with others to learn as well. And thank you so much for being with me today. I am Adaeze, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.